Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another episode of Chart Watch, CD, Final Sales and Music Beast Chat. This is week 45, and I did say last week I would give an update on how the Beatles were going to do, especially in the singles chart. I know they've just released the blue and red albums, but I don't have any data yet on how those are going, but I will have for next week. So the singles chart, which I don't normally look at, and this is for the UK. Last week the Beatles had arrived at about number 42-ish, and this week they are number 1 for the 18th time. And the reason why I'm talking about the singles chart is because that's where they are, and also it's probably the first time in a long time where physical sales have made any impact on the singles chart at all, which is nearly always 100% streaming. So what's been going on? Well, they're straight in number 1. And what is the breakdown here? 78,168 copies of the Beatles Now and Then have been sold. And how have they been sold? It is 18,738 CDs and 19,358 7-inch singles, 8,400 digital downloads and 32,000-ish sales equivalent streams. I have to say, as this pops up on the screen now, is that the best artwork design they could have come up with for the Beatles single, this potentially the last ever single by the Beatles, and all the clever stuff that went into making this happen, that was what they came up with for the artwork. Okay, there might be some of you out there who absolutely love that, but you just would have thought, picture the Beatles on it? I don't know. But anyway, it's sold and it's at number 1. That's the only thing I'm going to look into for the singles chart. Last week, of course, we saw Taylor Swift get to number 1 in the album chart with about 185,000 sales, taking a massive step forward from the Rolling Stones' 72,000 the week before. This week, it's more modest. Taylor Swift is still there with 23,561 sales, of which 6,000 were physical. So a lot of it was streaming, which is interesting. Oasis are in at number 2. Who else is there? Rolling Stones are at number 4. They've only dropped down 1 place. So that's interesting in many ways, that I'm so used to seeing albums go in and straight out again. But the Stones are hanging around, just like the olden days when albums used to sit in the charts for a few weeks, sometimes months. But what about Rumours by Fleetwood Mac? I don't count that. That's an anomaly. But, new albums come in and they go out. So it's good that the Stones are still hanging around there. Have I got any details of actual sales here? Let's have a look. Nothing. I haven't got anything that kind of gives any inkling to do with CDs and vinyl sales this week at all, really. What I will say is overall album sales are down on the week before, but they would be, wouldn't they, because of Taylor Swift. So that the physical market was 19.5% last week, and this week it is 15.3%. So it's gone back down to what I'd expect. Again, it's the Taylor Swift effect. I'm just going to finish with the indie albums top 30. Now, for those of you with a certain vintage, probably close to mine, you probably think of the indie albums or independent chart as being like small independent labels, like in the punk era where everything's handmade and crafted, etc. You can have BMG in there now because they're an independent label. So this is anything outside of the humongous Universal Sony batch. So which is why you can have at number 9 straight in on Sanctuary Records Motorhead with the new version of Perfect Day. Great album. And Roger Waters in at 29 on Cooking Vinyl with his version of Dark Side of the Moon. Simple Minds are in there as well. And Johnny Marr is at number 1 with the best of Johnny Marr, which is on BMG. And as I say every week, when I look at these things, it's based on what goes across the counter and is clicked in as being part of the charts unit. So this is a snapshot, a feel for what's going on, but not necessarily the real numbers of what gets sold. So next week, I'll look at the 2 Beatles albums, the red and the blue one, and I'll have more detail on the breakdown between CD and vinyl sales than I have this week. So thanks very much for watching. Thank you for being here. Please take care, keep spinning those discs, and I shall see you very, very soon.